I'm now just going to introduce our next, and there's no just about it. 54 Reasons have done heaps and heaps of work with their partners here, and we want to introduce you to Virginia Vincent from 54 Reasons and Banjo Jackson from the East Gippsland Youth Ambassador, who's a youth ambassador, who will be presenting messages from East Gippsland and the follow-up, which is Great Ideas Project. Virginia is the team leader for the Children and Young People Wellbeing Initiative at 54 Reasons, and her background includes 40 years in education, pediatric neuropsychology, children and youth counselling, and a parent-infant educator. And Banjo is the East Gippsland Youth Ambassador and is 16 years old, and was a chairman of the East Gippsland Youth Ambassadors in 2023. He is also on the Youth Program Committee as part of the Gippsland Youth Spaces, Inc. Thank you so much for both joining us today, and I'll hand over to you.
Sorry, just setting it up.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to move you over here. Good morning to everyone. The presentations just have been absolutely wonderful, and I thank you for your time today. We're happy to present messages from East Gippsland and the Great Ideas Project. But before we begin, let's see, I'd like Banjo to do an acknowledgement of the country that we are on today.
So I'll do a quick land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the enduring custodians on whose land we live and work, and we honour their continuing culture to the lands and the seas and the skies around this area. And I just want to pay a particular local respects to the various communities we have, Indigenous communities we have in East Gippsland and around the area that this work's been done on. We have the Gunai people in our kind of central area around Bairnsdale and Lakes Entrance. We want to acknowledge the Injera and the Monero people towards New South Wales, where we do some of our work out there. We've got the Yuin and the Bidwell people kind of to the north and to the eastern parts of this area. And we just really want to acknowledge those local people and the role that they play in these sort of communities.
And today we are on the Gunai country, but the project that we're going to talk about today took place in all of these areas. So the first thing I'd like to just start with is talk about 54 Reasons very briefly, because this is sort of the backbone. First of all, who is 54 Reasons? Our name says it all. 54 Reasons became 54 Reasons as part of Save the Children Australia in 2022. And it became 54 Reasons to represent the 54 rights of the UN Children's Rights, the 54 rights of children, excuse me. The new name, actually, 54 Reasons, and the design was created in response to feedback from children and young people who wanted something of their own. And so Save the Children Australia became the 54 Reasons. What is it that we do? Well, a core part of 54 Reasons is to amplify the children's and young people's voices and participation in the communities that we work in. It's a core part of Save the Children Australia, and it's why 54 Reasons exists. Where are we? Well, we are in almost 200 communities and locations in every state and territory. It is the Australian brand of the work to bring that ability and that empowering of children and young people's voices in Australia. And why do we do this work? Well, why do we do it? Why do we all do it? We do it because children and young people have rights, and we want them to know their rights. So that they can thrive in all their diversity, in all their creativity, and all their curiosity. So we do it to make sure all children and young people know their rights and have them met. And when we do it in every endeavor that we undertake. So everything we do with that with that mindset, always trying to, sometimes I write it on my hand. Today I wrote on my hand because we have a very busy day today. We have the Children's Expo going on this afternoon. First things first. And whenever I'm working with a project that involves children first, young people first, I write it on my hand so that it's right there and I don't have to think about it. The next thing is how. Well, the messages from East Gippsland, which we have an acronym, MFEG, and the Great Ideas Project, GIP, is an parcel of what we do. And so today we're presenting just one project that has been done, and hopefully it's something that you'll find as exciting as we did. Messages from East Gippsland. This project was inspired by Article 12 of the United Nations Convention for the Rights of Children. You have the day that the children received their books. We have a book, and I don't have a copy with me. Actually, we've given them all away, all 300 books, but they received a book with their words, their drawings about the things how they felt about the community in East Gippsland. Child and youth participation. And so this is a shout out to Article 12. And so before I do that, so Banjo, we talk about Article 12.
Yeah.
And we talk about children are listened to.
Yeah.
Children are supported in expressing their views. Children's views are taken seriously.
Yeah.
Children's views are considered on matters that are relevant to them. Children are involved in decision-making, and children share power and responsibility for decisions that impact them. Now, we've heard some presentations this morning, and you said in my ear, we need to do that. We need to have that here. So we talk about the rights of children and their right to be heard. What does it mean to you?
Well, there's in the Article 12 of the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child, there's two very important parts of it. There's the part that's they have the right to be listened to. And I think that's all clear and very understood. And I think all of the groups today have shown that in the way they listen to children and young people. And we do as well. But the other part that's really important is that they have their views taken seriously, not thrown out the window. We know that children, they can be very imaginative, to say the least, and they have the biggest ideas. They want to go to the moon or explore the ocean and do everything that they want. Anything they can imagine they want to do. And I think it's important that when we go out and we ask them what they want, and they'll bring up things like, oh, we would like a bowling alley. I'd like a bowling alley too, but we'd like a bowling alley, or we'd like a pool, or we'd like a Eureka sky deck in our little regional town. You have to think about it, and you got to go, well, obviously, groups like us, we have different avenues and sometimes limited avenues in what we can do, but it's important that we don't throw these ideas away. We have ideas such as building a pool, right? A pool would be a great idea for not just not just young people, but the whole community. Everyone can gather around and have fun in the pool. It's a bit like how we talked about breaking bread earlier. It's a way of building community, and it's important with ideas like this, which they're not easy, but they're still achievable. That when we talk about building pools or bowling alleys, we say to them, we tell them what we can do. And 54 Reasons and a lot of other groups, we can't go out with our bricks and our tiles and our shovels and go and build a pool in the middle of town. But we can go to the local council, we can go to state government, we can get them to sign petitions, really use all the avenues available to show them what they can do and what we can do, because we can't do everything for children, but the least we can do is take their views seriously and do what we can to show that.
So in that, and he's mentioning those things because these are some of the ideas that came out in when we asked children these 3 questions. The best thing about where I live is, and what you have there are the postcards that they filled out and were submitted to us. The worst thing about where I live is, and if I was the mayor of East Gippsland, what would I do? So what we received was, 178 postcards from 12 communities, 14 schools, The responses came from children living outside of East Gippsland because last year on this day, we were having our Children's Expo and it was the last day of children writing, and there were some children and young people from out of the area. 55% of the participants were girls, 45% boys, and 25% of participants we did ask their gender, but did not state their gender, and they had the option to put none or binary. They were asked about their age, and the responses were anonymous, and they were also asked if they would fill out consent forms and asked if their words and drawings could be used in the book and in presentations like this. So in East Gippsland, their words and drawings were compiled into a 26-page book. 300 books have been distributed to young people, families, libraries, and the East Gippsland Council made use of the responses in its council action plan. We actually had a response, video response from the mayor, who he promised that he would do it, and he did it, even though we had a change of mayors at the time. But it was wonderful. And the children waited for that video. When's the mayor? I went to Paynesville Primary School. When's the mayor going to respond to our what we asked for? And so when he put that response out there and 2 other counselors, children felt like they were heard. It's like the people who make the decisions about our lives heard us and they talked back to us. They were just thrilled that that was able to happen. They were also thrilled with their books, to say the least. Now, messages from East Gippsland, the project. We have some great ideas. And when you see some of these ideas, you'll see that put toy boxes on the beaches, put a big pool in every town, make Can River a better, happy place, make a big park. I would put in a playground for my age, a 9-year-old boy in Bairnsdale, make an arcade in Bairnsdale, turn the old Woolies into a bowling alley. There's your bowling alley, yes. But then here we go. If I was mayor, I would gift everyone $10,000. I would deliver ice cream and donuts to all the schools. I would invent Candyland and eat whatever I want. So we had some, we had some things that obviously we could not do. I don't think the council will give everyone $10,000. Banjo, what's your wildest dream?
Wildest dream, I would love a white Christmas. I really, really want a white Christmas with lots of snow. And I hope the snow doesn't sting me, because the last time I went up to Mount Hotham in the high country, it stung me and I don't know why. So I want a white Christmas, that's what I want. Okay,
well, we'll see what we can do about that. The Great Ideas Project. Now, as an outcome of that first part, we decided we needed to do something to close the feedback loop. And so the Great Ideas Project was born. And the Great Ideas Project was, what of the things that children presented to us could we actually give them? We couldn't give them everything. And Banjo and I were talking the other day, is when I ask you what you would like, and you give me something that's impossible, we talked about how you need to at least renegotiate it. Well, we can't do the bowling alley, we can't do the pool in the middle of town, but we came up with the idea about doing a petition to the council. There is something that can be done. We may not be able to take the shovels and dig the pool, but we can find a way to give children and young people what they need. So the first project was cleaning up East Gippsland. This was a project that took place because some of the children and young people said, we don't like it when there's trash on our streets. We don't like it when there's plastic in the ocean. So they went around and they spent 2 weekends cleaning up their communities. So that was one thing, and we organized that, and that was easy to do. The Betka Beach Toy Library in Malakuta. One child said, could you read that, Banjo?
If I was the mayor of East Gippsland, I would put toy boxes at the beaches.
And so we did. Toy boxes at the beaches, and they went in on Easter weekend or Easter week, and they have been a hit. How simple. We went out and bought $50 worth of toys, as you can see there. And what they do is they take them, they go play with them on the beaches, and then they get delivered back. The only thing that has been lost so far is one shovel. And I expect that maybe it was taken out to sea. So The next project was hot chips from Nico General Store. Could you read that?
The best thing about where I live is going to the Nico store and getting hot chips after school.
So they asked for hot chips, and we thought, oh, well, yeah, we could do hot chips. Here we go around the thing about food. So we went to Nicholson Primary School, and we had enough hot chips for 60 students. We had a game day, a fun day. We told stories. We played music. They danced. And so that was something that we could do. Something that was within our power to do. It sounded really crazy when we first saw that suggestion. Chips, hot chips for that many kids. I was just at Nico's store the other day, and I still can't eat hot chips from the store because that day really did me in on hot chips. The next project was Dogs Welcome in Can River.
Dear Mayor, may we please be able to have more dogs allowed in Can River?
So they wanted the dogs on their leashes, so the children met, they made up posters. We got permission by council to post those posters over the winter festival, and they want dogs to be welcoming. And there's one poster that you can't see there, but it was a boy, a young man who had a beautiful dog and a little pile of poo, and he said that people should be picking up their poo. Dog's poo, I mean. So sorry. This one, we didn't think this would happen. A young adult writers workshop.
So one of them said, if I was mayor of East Gippsland, I would host a meet and greet with Australian authors.
And what did she write there? Right here.
Oh, she has a little drawing too of her with Ellie Maney, who's one of her favorite authors.
So we didn't think this could happen. When we saw that suggestion, we thought, what is the biggest thing we could do? And Miriam Riverley, who's no longer with us, decided that, who's also a writer, she said, well, let's see if we could get Ellie Marney. And Ellie Marney is a New York Times bestseller, writer of young adult fiction. It's kind of horror stories, not my genre, but kids loved it, just loved it. So we got in touch with Ellie Marney, and she just happens to live just over the hill in rural Victoria. And she said, sure, I'll come. So we went out to Orbus Community College, and Ellie Marney was there, and she did 5 writers' workshops with the students there at Orbus Community College. And there was some young girls in the room who said, we didn't think, and Ellie Marney told her story, and they said, we didn't think we could ever aspire to being an author. And Ellie Marney talked about how she got there. And those young people, they weren't children, they were just on fire, especially since she did all this horror stuff. They just loved that. And the final project that we were able to do
was a shopping trip, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it was quite extraordinary for a lot of these kids. And one kid said, the worst thing about where I live is we don't have hospitals or Kmart or Target, and there's no taxis, because out here in a regional area, you even go out even a more regional way, there's not much there. So they don't even have anywhere to shop.
Yeah. No shopping. And we're in Bensdale, and we have one Kmart. In Malakuta and Can River, they have nothing. So we got a bus, we rented a bus, we got the kids on the bus. They went shopping, they went to the movies, they went to an arcade up in Merimbula and Eden, and just had an amazing day. We had chaperones, and they were just thrilled. The work that we did was presented to the young people. Miriam Riverley, who you see in that photo, went out, did a slideshow, showed them their responses, handed out books. And it comes down to this one statement. If I was mayor, I would recognize, and I have this thing in my way here, I can't see, I gotta move you over. If I was mayor, I would recognize children's rights and listen to our opinions. And that is really the core of what this project was about. Not just getting the nice book together, not just doing the report that we are all required to do, but giving back to them, showing them their words, doing some of the things they asked for. Like Banjo says, he'd like to have snow, and so Banjo, I have something for you.
Nice surprise.
Here's some snowballs. There you go.
Oh, I dropped
Has-
one. I'm
has-
dropping them.
And here's some snow for you because you asked. Here's a little snow machine. It won't make your skin itchy.
Thank you so much.
So there you go.
And it makes me feel heard and it makes me feel listened to. And I think that's what we really want to take away from
Yeah.
a lot of this.
Thank you very much. Now, I do have here at the end, here are the QR codes to get the Messages from East Gippsland book and the Great Ideas Project. So if you're interested in that, all you need to do is click on those or scan those QR codes and they'll be there for you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, you two. What a joy to listen. And yeah, just as I also want to say, as a proud rural kid myself, it's so cool seeing rural and regional representation here today. And I also, before we get into the questions, I also just want to echo a comment from, I think it was from Tina. Tina said in the chat that this is just such a great way to give children a sense of engaging in democracy and agency and community. And I think that is really at the heart of this project, which is just so cool to reflect on. So thank you so much for your presentation. I'm going to kick things off with a question for yourself, Banjo. I was wondering what the highlight's been so far for being a part of this whole project, I suppose. Yeah, have you got any cool highlights that you'd like to share?
I think one of my highlights has been, for me personally, actually, I guess knowing what other children and young people in my area want, because it's so hard because, you know, I can come here and think I'm a representative of the youth. But if I'm not going out there, if I'm not getting back, you know, getting some of this feedback, and actually looking into it, and you know, making sure I'm getting all of the different people from all of the different areas, because I mean, you know, there will be people that it'll be very hard to get their needs and wants across. You know, people with mental health issues who, you know, they struggle to go outside and engage and socialize and engage in these, I guess, these forums and surveys and whatnot. You know, how do I know that I'm getting their voice given back to me? How do I know that I'm getting many of the Aboriginal children in the, you know, far east of East Gippsland? How do I know their voices are coming back to me and coming back to us? How do I advocate for them? I can go on and on and on through a list, but it's important that I know that, you know, I'm not going to know everything, but the thing that I do know is that, you know, I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to keep looking and I'm going to keep engaging, because as long as you're putting in that effort to go out there and listen and do and look with your eyes and see the stuff for yourself, I think that's what's most important. That's been my highlight, is that just seeing all of the different things that people want and understanding that everyone's different, especially children. They're all different. They've all got, you know, blooming personalities. You know, they're finding themselves and they're finding what they want in this world. And I think it's important that we try to get those views from each and every one of them.
Even their wildest dreams, you know, and not stopping that flow of creativity. I would like to mention one thing about Banjo. We just finished our 5-year report of the well-being of children and young people in East Gippsland. And I had this wild idea one night that the foreword shouldn't be written by the company, the CEO of 54 Reasons. It should be written by a young person. He's the man. He wrote a foreword, and I would say of the 140-page document, those are the most important 2 pages. And it's the first word of the document. So
yeah, that's so cool. Can't wait to check that out.
And it's got
yeah,
beautiful, I'll just show you quickly. It's beautiful 2 pages. Got my lovely picture there, my racing jacket, and it's got all the important things I wanted to say, but I wanted to try and say on the voice of young people in the area.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait to check that one out. Thanks so much to the 2 of you. Am I handing back over to you, Mandy? Oh, your microphone's just turned off.
I think so, just briefly.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Ginny and Banjo. A really great session, and so wonderful to be able to engage children with at all different ages. That method is accessible to anyone. I so love that. We're now just having a few words from our very powerful facilitators. Thank you very much for doing that. I suppose I was just aware that there are a fair few people who have come along late. So we're having a little bit of hearing a bit more about new developments in the youth participation work happening at YACVIC with Jen Rowan is Youth Participation Officer at YACVIC, where she brings a wealth of experience in youth engagement and youth participation. And Sam Champion heads up YACVIC's youth participation and sector development work, and they're going to just tell us about some new developments in your space. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks so much, Mandy. And yeah, it's just been so wonderful being here today to be able to facilitate these Q&As. Everyone's presentations have been so insightful. So yeah, thanks so much for having us. We're here just to talk a little bit about YERP, and you're probably wondering, YERP, that sounds like what the heck does that word even mean? It's the Youth Engagement Resource Platform. We might post a link in the chat in a moment, or actually Sarah's bet me to it. Amazing, thanks Sarah. So the Youth Engagement Resource Platform is an online toolkit, and it's home to all things youth participation, advocacy, youth engagement, and heaps more. It was first created in 2013 as a dedicated information hub for young people and the Victorian youth sector. And then in 2022, almost a decade later, we received some funding from the VicGov Office for Youth to update the site to ensure its ongoing relevance and value. And Sam's going to talk a little bit more about that process now. I'll hand it over to you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Hey, folks. I'm Sam, for those that haven't heard me speak yet today. And yeah, the Youth Engagement Resource Platform has been around for a number of years, as Jen says, but we got funding to upgrade it a couple of years ago now. And so we went straight ahead and recruited 10 co-designers, young co-designers, to help with putting the project into action. We also recruited a group, a steering committee group from across the youth sector, which included young people and youth workers to help with guiding the approach. And then we also consulted with over 200 people through surveys and through dedicated consultations and conversations with groups of young people and sector workers to figure out what people wanted to know about, what they wanted to see on a youth engagement resource platform. And we're super excited to be able to launch it just last month. If you head to yacvic.org.au/YERP, you'll be greeted with a whole group of topics and articles that you can delve into. It's written for two audiences, both for young people to use and for workers to use. So the articles for young people are focused on advocacy, change making, leadership, skills development. And the articles for workers are about supporting young people to do all of those things. So there's particular focus on youth participation. The Roger Hart's Ladder of Participation, for example, is one of the featured articles and models on there. And just like Adrian, actually, I'm not a huge fan of the word model. I much prefer strategy and approach. It feels much more action-based. I thought that earlier when you said that, Adrian. The sections I particularly love and am proud of are the child safety sections and the lived experience sections, because I have personally found, and we have heard from people in the youth sector specifically, that those articles and resources that are out there are so often focused either on children and not so much on the youth age bracket, 12 to kind of 17. Or the lived experience stuff is usually based on consumers that are quite a lot older, and again, not really focused on that youth age bracket. And so we're really proud of the fact that these articles really think about the context of working with young people, thinking about that rights versus risk and versus engagement piece. Jen, what are your favorite articles? What stands out to you on YERP?
I have to give a shout out to the advocacy section, I think, which is under the young people section, because I think there's some super juicy articles in there, tips and tricks that I could have benefited from as a young person, just starting to dip my toes into the world of advocacy. In that particular section, there's articles on allyship, leadership, contacting your MP, being a role model, and heaps more. But there truly is something in there for everyone, whether you're a young person or someone who works with young people. You should definitely go check it out. So yeah, I think it was Sarah who posted it in the chat before. Please do go check it out. And as you'll see, Sam's just posted in there some training opportunities as well. Did you want to speak to those, Sam, or did you just want me to give a shout?
Yeah, I think we need to hand back to Mandy. I think it's
Yeah.
meant to have ended. It's meant to end now. This we're very, very grateful for having a little spotlight, Mandy. We've put a couple of links in the chat there. It's been great to be part of this. What a fantastic morning.
Thanks,
And
Mandy.
thank you so much for the contribution you've made. This is just a model I want to try more and more of, frankly, because I think it brings the best of all organisations together.